Nice day, children. Today, our topic is Unit 4 from Civics Forms of Government. Let's see the introduction. Government is the main agency of the state. It serves as the instrument for delegation. Delegation is nothing but representatives and execution of the state policies for the welfare of the people. It formulates, expresses and realizes the will of the state. It exercises certain legislative, executive and judicial powers based on the constitution and the laws. There are three organs in government, namely legislature, executive and judicial. These organs carry out the activities of the state. Governments are classified into unitary, federal, parliamentary and presidential form. The term government is derived from Old French governor, derived from Latin governor, to direct, rule, guide, govern. What's the meaning of the government? Government refers to the executive functions of the state. It denotes a body having authority to make and enforce laws applicable to the civil, corporate, religious, academic or other groups. Let's see about the types of constitution. That is a written or and unwritten constitution, federal or unitary constitution, flexible or rigid constitution. Unitary forms of government. A unitary system of government or a unitary state is a sovereign state governed as a single entity. The central government is supreme and the administrative divisions exercise only powers that the central government has delegated to them. England, France, Japan and Sri Lanka are examples of unitary form of governments. In this form of government, authority and power is distributed between center and the constituent units. There might be a lot of decentralization of authority, but we cannot claim it as a federal system. Let's see about unitary form of government features. So, unitary features of the Indian Constitution. Strong center, central government's control over state territory, single constitution, flexibility of the constitution, unequal representation of states, emergency provisions, single citizenship, single integrated judiciary, all India services, appointment of governor by the central government. Next, merits of unitary form of government. What is that? Suitable for small countries. There is no conflict to authority and responsibility. A unitary government will make prompt decisions and take speedy action. A unitary government is less expensive. Amendments to the constitution are easy. There is unity, uniformity of law, policy and administration. Now we will see about the demerits of unitary form of government. It is not suitable for big countries. The central government will have to tackle so many complex problems that lead to administrative delay. The central government will not concentrate on local problems, local interest and initiative. The concentration of powers may pave way for the despotism of the central government. Let's see about federal form of government. This type of government has shared powers between the central government and state governments. This type of structure is found in the United States. The classification of governments into unitary and federal is based on the nature of relation between the national and the regional governments. A federal government is one in which powers are divided between the national government or and the regional governments by the constitution itself, and both operate in their respective jurisdictions independently. USA, Switzerland, Australia, Canada, Russia, Brazil, Argentina have federal forms of governments. In a federal model, the national government is known as the federal government or the central government or the union government, and the regional government is known as the state government or the provincial government. Let's see about the features. Federal features of the Indian Constitution. Dual government, written constitution, division of powers, supremacy of the constitution, that is the constitution is the supreme law of the land. The laws enacted by the center and the states must conform to its provisions. Rigid constitution, independent judiciary, bicameralism. Next we will see about the merits of federal form of government. Reconciliation of local autonomy with national unity. Division of power between center and states leads to administrative efficiency. It gives rise to big states. Distribution of powers check the nepotism of central government. More suitable for bigger countries. It is good for economic and cultural progress. Okay, next we will see about the demerits of federal form of government. Federal government is weaker when compared to the unitary government. Federal government is more expensive. Provincial tendencies are very common. Lack of uniformity in administration, threat to national unity, distribution of powers between center and states lead to conflicts, double citizenship. A rigid constitution cannot be mended easily for changing needs. The last point is the state government sometimes place hindrances in the foreign policy. Next we will see about the difference between unitary form and the federal form of government. Under the unitary form of government, only one level of government or subunits, mostly single citizenship. Subunits cannot operate independently. No division of power, centralization of power. Under the federal form of government, two levels of government, dual citizenship. Federal units are answerable to central government, division of power. Then last point is the decentralization of power. Okay, let's see about the parliamentary form of government. Modern democratic governments are classified into parliamentary and presidential on the basis of the nature of relations between the executive and the legislative organs of the government. The parliamentary system of the parliamentary system of government is the one in which the executive is responsible to the legislature for its policies and acts. The parliamentary government is also known as a cabinet government or responsible government or Westminster model of government, and is prevalent in Britain, Japan, Canada and India. You can see in the table the country and the name of parliament. Let's see about the features of parliamentary form of government. What is that? First one is nominal and real executives, next majority party rule, then collectively responsibility, dual membership and leadership of the Prime Minister. Now we will see about the merits of the parliamentary form of government and demerits of the parliamentary form of government. Okay, now we see about the merit. Harmony between legislature and executive, responsible government, prevents dictatorship, wide representation. Demerits, unstable government, no continuity of policies, dictatorship of the cabinet, against separation of powers. Presidential form of the government. Let's see about that. The presidential form of government is also known as non-parliamentary or fixed executive system of government. Basically built on the principle of separation of power and is prevalent in the USA, Brazil, Russia and Sri Lanka among others. Features of presidential form of government. The president as the head of state, he occupies a ceremonial position. The president is elected by an electoral college for a fixed tenure of 4 years. The president governs with the help of a cabinet or a smaller body called kitchen cabinet. The legislative, executive and judicial powers of the government are separated and vested in 3 independent organs of the government. Let's see about the merits and demerits. Merits of the presidential system of government is a democratic, effective control by the president, facilitate decision making, state government. Then demerits can degenerate into dictatorship, strained relationship between executive and legislature, lack of harmony between the legislature and executive. Okay, now we will see about the difference between the parliamentary form of government and the presidential form of government. Under the parliamentary form of government, Prime Minister is from the majority party, central legislature is supreme, absence of separation powers, centralization, independent branches with overlapping functions, president head of the state, prime minister head of the government, collective leadership and then collective and individual responsibility. Under the points of presidential form of government is president is directly elected by the people, president is supreme, separation of powers, independent branches, president is the head of the state, president is the head of the government, individual leadership, president is not accountable to Congress. Let's see about the relation between the center and the state in India. Though the powers are shared between the central and state governments, the final decision is by the central government in all matters. The relationship between the center and the states are legislative relations. The article 245 to 255, administrative relations articles 256 to 263, financial relations articles 268 to 293. Both the central and state governments have the power to make laws, but the matters differ. The center can make laws applicable to the whole nation on certain matters called as the union list. The states have the powers to make laws in some matters only, applicable to their own state, called as the state list. The concurrent list includes subjects on which both central and state government have the power to make laws. What is that in union list, state list and concurrent list? From union list has 100 subjects. These include foreign affairs, defense, armed forces, posts and telegraphs, interstate trade and commerce and so on. In state list consists of 61 subjects which include public order in the state, police, prisons, local governments, agriculture and so on. The concurrent list has 52 subjects which include criminal and civil procedures, marriage and divorce, economic and special planning, newspapers, books and printing presses, population control and so on. Gross national happiness, GNH. It is a developing philosophy as well as an index which is used to measure the collective happiness in any specific nation. The concept was first mentioned in the Constitution of Bhutan, which was enacted on 18 July 2008. The term gross national happiness was coined by the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, in the 1970s. GNH is distinguishable by valuing collective happiness as the goal of governance and by emphasizing harmony with nature and traditional values. I conclude my lesson saying the best form of government is that which is most likely to prevent the greatest sum of evil. I hope you had understood this lesson. You learned book back exercises which is displayed on the screen. Thank you, ma. You take care of yourself.